I live in LA, but some of my family members currently live in Charleston, South Carolina. Southern cuisine is highly sought after by many, but there's not a lot going on for vegans. There's one popular Southern dessert that keeps showing up at family gatherings, and sadly, I always have to pass. But I have a recipe that could change that. Let's get baking. Today, let's make a classic Southern style coconut cake that's 2 layers and it's vegan and gluten-free. So when I visit my family, there's a local shop there. I don't know the name of it, but they're like, oh, this is so good. And they always get it every now and then. Like they come home with this slice of delicious, fluffy, like coconut cake. And I'm just like, that looks really good, but I can't have it. So I thought, let me try to make my own. So I have a combination of different flours and I think it's gonna work to make a really good fluffy, tasty coconut cake. So we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. I have here 1 cup of our all-purpose gluten-free flour and 1 cup of our brown rice flour. And let's just throw that right into our mixer. Okay, and I'm just gonna put that aside. And now we're going to add almond flour, and this is 1/2 cup. So just throw that right in as well. And let's continue with all of our dry ingredients. So I've got everything portioned out here, but let me show you. I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. We have 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. I've got 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And then we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So let's throw that right in there as well. Make sure we get it all. I'm gonna use my little spatula, my favorite kitchen tool. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, the xanthan gum that I like to use is It's Just, because literally that's all it is. And you can get this at Amazon. You can order it most places. I'll have the link in the description if you want to get this exact kind. And the brown rice flour, if you're interested in the one I'm using, is this Arrowhead Mills, which is pretty accessible. You can find this at most grocery stores, like a Whole Foods. But I'll also have the link to this in the description if you want to easy search for that one. Okay, so back to our dry ingredients. Let's get that final dry ingredient in. It's 1.5 cups of our organic white sugar. Just get that in there. So easy right now, right? Now let's get our whisk tool on here. I'm just gonna whisk that up just to get it blended. It's like medium. And I wasn't always like the biggest coconut fan, but something about the look of that coconut cake just made me so jealous that I'm like, I have to make my own. So that's all blended in. So we only have a few more ingredients to go. We're gonna go right with our wet ingredients. You can probably hardly see this, but this is just 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So let's dump that in. And then I have here very delicious melted butter. This is our Earth Balance butter. It's 3/4 cup. Get that right in there. Make sure you get all of that goodness. And then we have our coconut milk. Now this isn't coconut milk out of the can, the coconut cream. This is actual coconut milk. This is a brand I really like, Khalifa brand, organic, all natural. So I recommend that one. Any kind will do, just don't use the can one. You just want your coconut milk. If you don't have that, regular plant milk of any kind should work, but this just helps bring that flavor out a bit more. So again, 1.5 cups goes right in. And now I'm gonna use my paddle because I just wanna stir this. I don't want it to be whisked. Just want it just enough so everything gets fully blended. Start off slow, and then we're gonna slowly increase. And I see a little sticking on the side, so I'll probably stop this and just get that flour to unstick. And we're gonna just blend this enough just so it's mixed. We don't need to mix this too much, too smooth. Okay. It's okay if it's a little lumpy. Let's just do one quick one. we go. So let's see here. It's looking good. Now we just have 2 final ingredients. I'm gonna go ahead and add some vanilla extract, just 1 teaspoon. Get that in there directly. And now the star of the show, obviously we need some coconut. Usually people use the coconut extract, but I went ahead with something a little more natural and a little lighter because sometimes extract can be just so overbearing and have that artificial taste. This stuff is amazing. I'll have the link to the where you can buy this in the description, but this is coconut flavoring. So I'm actually gonna do 2 teaspoons of this just to make sure it comes through because it is a little lighter in taste. Oh, that smells so good. And it's really thick. I don't know if you can see that, but watch how this pours out. Oh, so good. So let's do 2 of those. Lovely. And like a quick stir here just to get it blended in. Perfect. That is looking good. Take this out and get a closer look at what we've got. Smells coconutty. Yeah, look at that. It's perfect texture. So what I'm gonna do is prepare my pans and then we'll get the batter in there. Your next step is to grab 2 9-inch round pans. I have mine here already prepared. You can see they're glistening because not only do I have my parchment paper set in here, but I put a little oil in there just to make sure I have that extra insurance. So I got the round, all the edges. It is a non-stick pan, so I definitely shouldn't have any problems after this is done baking, but I always like to be extra sure. All right, so let's get our batter into each of these as evenly as possible. So we're gonna go a little bit here, a little bit here. Let it spread. Let's make sure we get everything out of our bowl. And it's okay if it's a little thick here. Just trust me, that is all gonna bake up really nice. Gonna have to give it a little help spreading out evenly on the pan. I think that's enough for this one. Let's scrape out all this goodness. Don't ever leave any of this goodness behind. Sometimes when I'm watching cooking shows, I see they just leave so much behind, and I know it's because of a time thing, but I just like scrape it out. Okay. My mom used to do that too, so maybe I get that from her. No waste. All right, so let's make sure it's evenly spread here. Get that here. Okay. And give it a little tap down. And these are all ready to go into the oven at 350, and it's going to take about 28 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. So just make sure you check it about 25 minutes to make sure it's not getting too brown. You just want it to be a little golden brown around the edges. So while those are baking, this is a perfect time to make our frosting. I've got all my ingredients here ready to go. If you've seen some of my other videos where I use cream cheese, I always talk about how much I love Tofutti brand just because it's more like a real cream cheese, at least from what I remember. But I found this version of Violife that I usually get in the tub, and it usually is a little bit thinner, great tasting, but just thinner, and I was never wanting to use it for these type of recipes. But I found this different kind, it's like a block version, so let's take a look, because I think this will work well for our frosting. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, it is like packed in here. So much so that I gotta get scissors to get it out. So let's get that into our mixing bowl first. Wow. Okay, I wanna make sure I get all of it, so I'm gonna just get in here. Dump that right in to our bowl. Put that aside. Next, my standby that I always use is Earth Balance. And we need, so that was 8 ounces, I don't know if I mentioned, 8 ounces of our cream cheese. And our butter is half a cup, so that's usually 1 stick. So I'm gonna get that right out of here. We want it to be soft enough, but not super, super soft, because this is gonna have to hold up as our frosting. So just make sure you can, you know, dent it, but it's not squeezing out, because then that's too soft. Just throw that right in. Now first, let me just get this going before I add any more ingredients. I wanna start getting this a little bit soft and blended. So right now they're pretty solid. Start off slow. Move it up there. Why does the smell of cream cheese and butter smell so good? It's already so yummy. Let's get it going a little faster. Okay, so slowly we're gonna add some sugar. So we're gonna need probably about 3 to 4 cups of our organic powdered sugar. I'm gonna start off with the 3 here set aside, but we're still gonna add it in very slow. If I find I need more, I have it on standby here. So let's just do maybe just a quarter of that right now. Slowly get it combined. Once that looks like it's mixing for the most part, let's get that in here. Go a little more liberal here. Okay, I'm gonna scrape the sides and add the rest. It is pretty liquidy, so we could need some additional powdered sugar. Let's see how it pans out. Let's add the rest of this. And I'm gonna blend this pretty well. And then I'm probably gonna go ahead and get another cup of powdered sugar in there, just because I don't want it to be this runny, and we still have to add our extracts. And I want that butter to blend in a little better, so let's give that a few minutes. Let's scrape our sides. I mean, it's looking good, but a little too runny. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and add our extracts, and then we'll add some more powdered sugar so we have a better idea of how much more we actually need. So we're gonna just do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Put that right in. And then we're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of our coconut flavoring. I'm gonna get my powdered sugar here on standby. Get this going high. I don't know if I need quite another cup of powdered sugar, so I'm gonna add just a couple tablespoons at a time while it's on slow. Because I don't want it to taste just like sugar. Let's just do 3, and that might do it. So again, it's gonna be 3 to 4 cups overall. Use your judgment. I would suggest, like I did, start with 3 and then go from there. Let's take a look. I'm gonna add just 2 more tablespoons, and then I'm going to put it in a pastry bag and let it set up in the fridge. So I think that'll be, even though it's still kind of loose right now, once it sets up, we'll be good to go. So let's just get those last 2. Scrape our sides. Yeah, that's looking better. Just scrape the sides before we whip it one last time. Gotta have patience with the frosting because you want this to be just right. It smells good. All right, I think that's good. I think once we get it in a pastry bag and set it up, it'll be perfect consistency. Look at that. So the rise was pretty good. And it's nice and brown around the edges. So we're gonna need these to cool completely before we get our frosting on them. So I'm gonna get these on a cooling rack and then we will check back in. All right, these are nice and cool and they smell great, nice and browned on the outside. I'm gonna move one at a time over here. I'm gonna keep this parchment on just because it's sticky on that side, so I'm just gonna leave that on for now. Actually, yeah, let's just leave that just to make it nice and neat. And I've got my icing that we made. Here my parchment paper, or my parchment bag. Make a nice big opening because we're not decorating necessarily, we're just using it to get the icing on here. So I think for now, I'm going to just do the middle and the top of this cake. I know usually these cakes are all covered in the frosting, but I think I just might want to keep mine nice and cute. So let's get a good amount here. Put that aside and let's just spread it. Not pushing down on it, I'm just, yeah, I think I like the way this looks. I don't want to cover the sides. I want a nice naked side here. That looks really good. And now we're gonna get our coconut shreds on here. I have from Whole Foods, they have this really good organic fair trade coconut shreds. I'll put the link in the description if you want to get this exact kind, but your coconut shreds of any kind that you like, just put them right on here directly and be nice and liberal with that. Because again, this is a coconut cake. And we want that texture, that crunchy little texture and that coconut kick. Oh, it smells so good. I'm gonna go a little crazy here. Okay. Now, I'm gonna flip this over a bit because I want my flat on my flat side, but I'm gonna use that slightly rounded side here. And it's alright if you see some of my cake's coming off, and that's okay because we're gonna cover it in frosting. I'm just gonna plop that right on. Look at that. And let's get our delicious frosting on here. And don't go too much over the edge because it's gonna slowly move its way that way anyway, so you don't want it to be like a drip cake. Not that that would really matter. Be tasty anyway. Yeah, I like the way this looks, just like that. Let's smooth it out. Yeah, see, as you can see, it's already making its way there naturally, so I don't have to do too much work. That looks good. Final touches. More of this delicious shredded coconut. And I'm just intentionally letting it just fall off the sides because I like the way that looks. There's no denying that this is a coconut cake. I'm making a mess, but I like it. That's it. So all we have to do now is give this a taste and see how we made out with this vegan gluten-free coconut cake. Okay, I am ready to cut into this cake. I'm so excited. It smells good. It looks good. I just love the way this icing is falling a little bit off the sides, but like leaving it exposed. Looks spongy. So let's just do a nice cut in the middle here, just so we can get, ooh, that feels nice. And then I'll do maybe a cut here. I just want to cut a piece for me right now to taste. Let me just do a little sliver. I really shouldn't have a lot of cake. Let me just turn that for you guys to see. Oh, let's see if I can get it out nice and neat. Oh, yes. That icing is good. Let's just get all that. Ooh, that looks really good. See if you can get in there a bit and see what that looks like. Let's show you my slice here up close and let's see what we've got here. I kind of like how that icing is dripping down here because that is just adding more flavor to the sponge. And look at that sponge. That is a gluten-free and vegan cake, and look at how moist and bouncy that is. That is your almond flour and your rice flour working well together. All right, so let's give it a taste. Oh my gosh, that is good. I'm gonna have another piece. Look at that. Oh my God. That is really good. That is so moist. I'm so glad we went with that coconut flavoring and not extract because it tastes so natural. It tastes like real coconut is in there and it's moist, not too overbearing, not too sweet. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, this is probably one of the best cakes I've ever made. I usually make chocolate cakes because they're easy. I've never really explored a coconut cake before, but honestly, I mean, I'm going to eat this whole thing right now. So good. And that's it. A simple recipe transformed into a decadent, coconutty, moist, and fluffy cake. Let me know if you have any requests for a vegan or gluten-free version of your favorite classic dessert. If you're loving these videos, please hit that subscribe button. Your support means so much. Until next time, see ya! It's really good.